UFC Seattle is coming up in a few days, and it's a really good fight night, kind of a cursed card because we had Dominic Cruz on the card. He pulls out. Edson Barboza pulls out a few other fights. We lost the WMMA fight, which maybe is a good thing, but regardless, we still have a really good co-main event and a pretty solid card overall, only like 11, 12 fights, something like that. But getting straight into it, Song Yadong versus Petr Yan, my takeaways and how I think it relates to the Henry Cejudo fight. We saw that the output wasn't really there in the first round as it usually is for Petr Yan. We know that he likes to start slow. Song Yadong took advantage of this. How Petr Yan won, he was much harder to hit in this fight than Song Yadong. He was very good at getting just out of range. Song Yadong, a lot of the times, he was really throwing big shots, and they weren't landing super clean, kind of on the guard, hitting the arm, stuff like that. But when Yan was throwing, it was landing much more cleaner than Song Yadong. Still was a close fight. I think he also did a better job of mixing up his targets compared to Song Yadong. Even though Song Yadong did a pretty good job as well, I think Henry Cejudo is a guy where on the feet, he doesn't really throw anything too crazy, nothing as diverse as a Petr Yan. I feel like almost no one is as diverse on the feet as Petr Yan, to be honest. And I thought rounds 2 and 3 were super close. I do think Yan clearly won both of the rounds. He edged it out with the takedown, in my opinion. I noticed, though, there were a lot of sequences in this fight that are similar to the Henry Cejudo versus Merab fight, where they kind of throw in the pocket, then one of them shoots for a takedown, they stuff the takedown, and then they try to throw something big off of the break. I could see that happening in this fight, and I think that it's more likely that Song catches Henry than Henry catching Song in this sequence. And I think that also because of Yan's defense, Song, again, he had a hard time not only connecting clean on the feet, but his takedown defense, Petr Yan, is very good. Yes, he got taken down by Merab, but he wasn't able to get controlled on the ground. He's very hard to keep down. And Song, this fight, shot so many takedown attempts. He tried to have the kind of the Merab approach, and to be fair, it almost worked for him. No one holds down Petr Yan except for Aljo occasionally. Even Aljo, I know in the rematch he held him down in the second and third round, but outside of that, he really could not hold him down. At the very end, though, it was a little bit worrying because Song Yadong does have good initial takedown defense. Once he's on the ground, though, he was getting controlled, and I get he was tired. It was the end of the round. He probably thought, oh, I'm not going to waste energy getting back up. I already lost this round, whatever. But it's not a great look to be held down by Petr Yan for more than 10 seconds, whatever. Definitely not a good look, especially going up against a guy like Henry Cejudo, the great wrestler that he is. But regardless, the next fight, Cejudo versus Merab, what I saw from this fight, this is Henry Cejudo's last and most recent fight, and it was over a year ago. I mean, this was not recent at all. Henry Cejudo taking another long layoff. I know he was also injured in this fight, which he said is the reason why his gas tank was so bad. Maybe he couldn't train fully. Because we've seen Henry Cejudo doesn't usually have a problem with his gas tank. Usually it's pretty decent. He could go 5 rounds. He's done it many times before. But for this fight, his gas tank wasn't there. And I get it's Merab. Everyone's gas tank isn't there against Merab. But Cejudo, he won the first round. He looked really good. He tagged him on the feet. He did get taken down, but he also took down Merab. Or I don't think he took him down, but he was able to get on top and control him for a little bit and then take him against the fence. Cejudo, he just could not keep up with the pace. I noticed he does have that brawling style where he just likes to kind of throw in the pocket and then shoot for a takedown. I don't know if that's going to work against a guy like Song Yadong. I feel like you don't want to throw in the pocket against Song. He's super fast. Henry's fast too, even for his age, but he's way more powerful. Song Yadong is also bigger than Merab and Henry Cejudo. And we saw Merab, he caught him in the second round. He landed a big shot on Henry Cejudo. Cejudo was able to eat it. He has a really good chin. But Cejudo has a good chin, but he's not fighting any power punchers. He's fighting Merab. He's fighting Aljo, TJ at flyweight. He's fighting Dominic Cruz, not a power puncher. Song Yadong hits a lot harder than all of those guys. If he hits him with that shot, Cejudo probably goes down. I don't know if he gets finished, but I don't know. I mean, that's going to at least lose him a round, at least, in my opinion. Cejudo kept on getting taken down in this fight. Again, it's Merab. That's not shocking. I remember a time when people were saying that Song Yadong was the nightmare matchup for Merab, which now that I think about it, I don't really agree with. I think Merab would be able to take down Song Yadong and kind of gas him out, in my opinion. But Cejudo, he looked good in the first round, but his gas tank wasn't there. And he was getting clipped a lot on the feet. It could be because he was tired, but Merab is not the striker that Petr Yan is. I know Merab actually is decent on the feet. He's not the same as Petr Yan. We noticed that in this fight. Moving on, is Henry Cejudo, is he washed? This is a big question going into this fight, and I know everyone is saying, oh, Henry Cejudo only lost to the best. He only lost to the best, which is true. That is definitely true. But in my opinion, I feel like that we still don't know how he stacks up against the guys that aren't necessarily elite. They're not the best of the best. He's shown that he's right there. He's not like the Aljo. I don't think he's as good as Aljo, whatever, maybe in his prime, or Merab. He's a little bit under, but I think a lot of people would agree Song Yadong is right there. So that's why it's kind of an even matchup. Song obviously isn't the same grappler as Merab or Aljo, but he's way more dangerous than both of those guys, and he's way better on the feet, and he's way faster than both of those guys. Henry, I believe, had a speed advantage against both of his last opponents. I don't know if he's going to have it against Song Yadong. He is super fast twitch, and I know a lot of people say Henry Cejudo ruined his legacy by coming back, and I get where they're coming from, but what people have to understand is Henry Cejudo, I don't think that he's any worse than he was a few years ago, 5 years ago, something like that, in his quote-unquote prime. I don't think he's that much worse. I think that he's just fighting better competition. I get, oh, he beat Dominic Cruz and TJ Dillashaw, I think back-to-back. Really good wins. In context, they're not that good. Dominic Cruz was coming off of a long layoff, didn't really deserve a title shot. I understand why they gave it to him, and he got knocked out. Also was kind of an early stoppage. TJ Dillashaw at 125, that was an easy win. That's like Aljo's win over TJ. It doesn't really count. I know it does on paper, but still, I don't think that he really ruined his legacy, because I think that he was always this level. His skill level was always the same, in my opinion. I guess he ruined it because people thought he was better than he actually was. But still, his legacy was bound to not really age well with those two wins. And we know that he hasn't fought in a year, and he was recovering from a ton of surgeries. We don't really know how he's going to look now. He didn't look washed in his last fight. He's still fast. He has a good chin. He's powerful, somewhat powerful. He's 38 years old now. He just turned 38. Maybe this is the fight where he looks washed. Again, it's just scary picking Henry because of his age. Picking older guys, usually it doesn't end well. I know recently Jared Cannonier kind of proved that, and Angela Hill, but still. Moving on, my final prediction for this fight. I think that both guys are going to start kind of slow, maybe exchanging leg kicks. I don't think that it's going to be a super fast start. I think that a few takedown attempts are going to happen on both sides. I think that Song Yadong will land a takedown. I know Henry will. I think Song Yadong is going to get a takedown. I don't think he's going to control him, but I think he'll be able to. I think that they're going to swing in the pocket. In terms of who's more likely to get a finish, though, I definitely think that it's Song Yadong. Both guys, I don't think are going to get a submission at all. I think most people would agree on that one. And I think it's either going to be a somewhat competitive decision win on either side, or a Song Yadong later rounds, mid rounds, TKO, in my opinion. I think that's the only way that this fight is going to go. Cejudo, he does have a good chin, like I said, but he hasn't fought any power punchers. He faced Merab, Aljo, Cruz. I mean, those aren't really powerful guys that are known for their one-punch knockout power, kind of like Song Yadong. He doesn't have like the Figueiredo power. I think that his power is a little bit overrated. He still is powerful, and he's good enough to hurt Cejudo and win the fight that way and finish him. Again, Henry has a good chin, so we'll see. Both guys are pretty chinny. Neither guy, again, has great submissions, so I don't think that that's going to be a factor at all. And my final prediction, This is really tough, but I think that they're going to swing in the pocket. I think both guys will shoot takedowns, and I think in the pocket, Song Yadong will crack Henry Cejudo. I think he'll drop him. I don't know if he's going to finish him. I don't think that he's going to finish Henry Cejudo. I think what's going to happen is he's going to hurt him multiple times. And as the fight goes on, he's going to start to feel more comfortable. He's going to be stuffing the takedowns, and he's going to build into the fight. And I think he's going to win a 49-46 decision, in my opinion. Not super confident. I really like Song Yadong. I do think he's going to get this done. Not super confident, but that is my final prediction. For the rest of the card, these are my picks. I'm picking Anthony Hernandez by decision. I'm picking Rob Font, Gene Silva, a few other guys. I know we have a few late replacements. Not too sure about I believe the Basharat and Simone fight. I feel like that's a toss-up. The Rob Font fight, I feel like that's a toss-up. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your predictions. And yeah.